Warriors! Video number 2 of the day. First of all, I want to come with a very serious message. I want to say I'm sorry for the Bearable Bull's loss. He came with a message about 15 minutes ago in regards to the loss of his friend. And from my heart to your heart, Bearable Bull, I'm very, very sorry. Know that you are heavily, heavily loved by the community, by the Warrior Academy as well. You're somebody that we've listened to on a daily basis. So I want to, all due respect, I want to say sorry for your loss, brother. From one community to another, our Warrior community says sorry for your loss, and we respect you and love you. If there's anything we can do for your community or you, please let us know. But so much respect for you, brother. Just so you know how much you're missed, I had people reaching out to me in my community, is the Bearable Bull okay? So you are very loved by the crypto community, by the XRP community, and by our community as well. So from one YouTuber to another, I don't know you personally, but we want to say we love you from the Warrior Academy. So let's go ahead and get it kicked off, Warriors. I'm Coach JV, the top health and mindset coach in the world. Remember, what you believe in your heart, you think in your mind, will eventually become your words and become your reality. Warriors, the casino has moved to the SDR. This is really important for you to understand the World Economic Forum, the IMF, and the SDR. Janet Yellen sent a letter to the SDR, and they're starting the printing machine there. Now, what does this mean for you, Warriors? This is just more bullish for cryptocurrency. As the central banks get involved in CBDCs, and they keep printing money into infinity, that is going to deflate your dollar, and guess what the institutions are going to continue to do? To move into stores of value. Not just cryptocurrency, gold, silver. They're going to be moving their money into stores of value, Warriors. Think about that. Eventually, we're going to go back to some type of gold standard, and what's going to happen is there's going to be a massive separation in between the very wealthy and the poor. UBI is on its way, Warriors. 3 stimulus checks already in America, and around July, I think there's a bill coming out where they're going to help you with daycare. That's UBI, Universal Basic Income. It's coming slowly and methodically. Now, I don't ask you to believe a word I say, some bearded guy with a fresh haircut. I didn't get my haircut, don't worry, guys. But I just want you to learn how to fish, Warriors. So I'm going to show you a Hulu commercial. What have I been saying to you guys? As you look this way, there's a narrative. There's a whole nother thing happening this way. So let's watch the Hulu commercial first. And I've been telling you guys all about predictive programming. They're putting it right in front of your face now. I know this seems like a joke, but watch this commercial and tell me what you think, being a woke warrior.
Hello, Earth. I'm Alec Baldwin, TV star. You know, they say TV will rot your brain. That's absurd. TV only softens the brain like a ripe banana to take it all the way. We've created Hulu. Hulu beams TV directly to your portable computing devices, giving you more of the cerebral gelatinizing shows you want anytime, anywhere, for free.
I only act out because I want your love. Get away!
Mushy mush. And the best part is there's nothing you can do to stop it. I mean, what are you going to do, turn off your TV and your computer? Once your brains are reduced to a cottage cheese-like mush, we'll scoop them out with a melon bowler and gobble them right on up. Oops. I think I'm drooling a little. Because we're aliens. And that's how we roll. Hulu, an evil plot
Boom.
to destroy the world. Enjoy.
They're putting it right in front of your face, Warriors. And a lot of people see that as fun. They're just watching this as entertainment. What? Oh, look at the background. Ironically, the Simpsons that predict everything. All right, so let's jump right into crypto news. That's why you came here. We got to wake up, Warriors. So Visa becomes the first major payments network to settle transactions in USD coin. I was talking about this. I showed you guys the interview with the Visa CEO. Said we may not sell cryptocurrency ourselves or get into blockchain, but we will get into the cryptocurrency game. Visa becomes the first major payments platform, one of the most powerful payment platforms in the world, to settle transactions in USD coin. Do you understand what this does to the crypto space? Think about that. Visa. People are going to start hearing this, and the FOMO is going to happen, fear of missing out. So San Francisco Business Wire, Visa today announced a major industry first in bringing the world of digital transaction of fiat currencies, the USD coin, the USDC, a stable coin backed by the US dollar, to settle transactions with Visa over Ethereum, one of the most actively used open source blockchains. Visa piloting the capability with Crypto.com. Woo! a Visa partner and one of the most largest crypto platforms, and plans to offer USDC settlement capabilities to additional partners later this year. I'm done, guys. I'm out. Oh my God. Crypto.com, Visa, bullish, bullish, bullish. Wow. Let's continue the journey here. Okay, so let's get into the SDRs. I told you guys this morning, Kev's still looking over like, what the hell is going on? So we're looking over here. Oh, so Kev, you guys have to say what's up, Kev. My business partner, he's on the lines with us. Let's go, Warriors. Hopefully they didn't mess up the audio. All right, so we might as well just end the video and walk off to the beach right now, right? Anyways, okay, let's get right to it. Okay, so this is what I was talking about this morning. Okay, let's get serious. Okay, so the IMF executive director discusses a new SDR allocation of $650 billion to boost reserves to help global recovery of the C word. Washington, D.C., Managing Director of International Monetary Fund issued the following statement at the conclusion and the informational discussion of the IMS executive directors in the technical case for special drawing rights of SDR general allocation. I am very encouraged by initial discussion on a possible SDR allocation of $650 billion by addressing the long-term global need for reserve assets. A new SDR allocation would benefit all the member countries in supporting global recovery in the C word crisis. It would also be a powerful sign of the IMF membership determination to do everything possible to overcome the worst recession in the Great Depression. The printing machine has now moved to the SDR. So let's watch this gentleman. I love her. Stansberry Research. She is phenomenal. You can see I'm subscribed to her channel. I'm just going to show a short clip. Please go watch this video, like, subscribe, and comment. She's talking to this gentleman here about the SDR.
And right now, we have seen the largest ever allocation in SDR, which you say will greatly improve the liquidity of many developing nations, but it also signals alignment between the US and China in a key area of global monetary power. So I want to understand this. Why, what was the impetus? What was the reason for the increase? Was the pandemic the justification?
Yeah. There are so many countries calling on the IMF now for financial support. And the IMF only has, max 1 trillion of assets available, and that's not enough to support all countries and all countries in need. So a new trick was needed for the IMF to be able to create new reserves. And the IMF states in one of the press releases that this new allocation of SDR is a substantial and direct liquidity boost to all member countries without adding debt burdens. So a liquidity boost without adding debt burdens. That is just helicopter money printed out of the sky. Where does that come from? Who pays for that, Warriors? It envisioned this as a new layer which has been built on top of the fiat money system. So the IMF can create their own assets now, reserves in SDR out of thin air, and can distribute this among member countries, and they can add it to their balance sheet. So it's a new layer of fiat money.
Wow. So it's more than triple, right? It's like at least 500 billion.
Yeah, that's correct. Because I told you that the SDR was created in the late 1960s. But ever since, only a good 200 billion SDR were created in the last 50, 60 years. And after the Lehman crisis, it was China's wish and also the United Nations wish that the IMF would use its virgin balance sheet. The balance sheet of the IMF is very, very small compared to the balance sheet of all central banks. And it was China's wish and the United Nations wish that the IMF would use its balance sheet by creating large amounts of SDR to be able to provide liquidity for the world's financial system. And in the last 60 years, only 200 billion of SDR were created, and now they can create another 500 to 600 billion. So the size of all SDRs ever created is being tripled. And it was highly political because the last administration, the Trump administration, was very opposed to this idea. And as soon as Janet Yellen was installed as the
Treasury Secretary,
she wrote a letter to the G20 and calling for this SDR solution. And that's why the G20 immediately approved this. And now the IMF can create this amount of SDR.
Okay, so I want to drill down on that point.
Hold on. This is why you need to understand the power behind crypto and digital currency. So this is going to deflate your dollar. Cash is trash, as Ray Dalio says. Why do you think Warren Buffett's closing out of bank stocks, going into gold mining? Think about that, Warriors. They are literally crashing the economy, printing money on top of money.
Point about Janet Yellen and why the Trump administration didn't want it. So this is basically, from my understanding, throwing a major life raft to member countries, right? So they're obviously benefiting, but who loses in this? Who's paying the price here, Willem?
Nobody. And that's the great thing about this trick. We build a new layer of fiat money, which nobody loses, but we create more fiat money out of thin air. So it increases the debasement of world currency. Because if you look at the content of the SDR is a currency basket. And within this basket, there are dollars and euro and yen and renminbi and British pounds. So when we create more SDR, we also create more of these 5 major currencies. So it's another round of debasement of currencies, but it's in an indirect way, so it's hidden.
Why didn't the Trump administration want this?
I think that this has to be viewed from the direct conflict between the U.S. and China.
Mm-hmm.
Let you guys go watch the rest of it out of respect to Stansberry Research. Her stuff is phenomenal. Okay, so do you see the narrative? I've been telling you guys this for a year. They are printing money into infinity. Now they moved into a new layer. It's going to be a hidden layer. You're not going to see. It's going to debase your value of your money. Inflation. Look at gas prices, Warriors. Lumber prices have doubled. If lumber prices doubled, what does that mean about your housing prices, Warriors? Think about that. Middle class is going to get wiped out. Are you just going to sit back and do nothing about it? Or are you going to do something about it? Now, this is Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen warning of extremely efficient Bitcoin. Why do you think, Warriors? Think about that. Use your warrior brain as you're fishing.
Check out the price of Bitcoin this morning. It is off its high. It's coming back a little bit here. We are now at $49,000 and just $48,000. Let's call it $49,000 for now. Some names with ties to Bitcoin like Tesla, Square, and PayPal will also come off. But take a look at some of the performance of Tesla versus Bitcoin recently. Since February 8th, when Tesla announced it had purchased $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin, shares of the electric car maker are down 20%. Bitcoin is still up about 25%. Yesterday at the New York Times' Dealbook DC conference, I spoke with Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen about Bitcoin, and she warned about what she called potential dangers.
I don't think that Bitcoin, I've said this before, is widely used as a transaction mechanism. To the extent it's used, I fear it's often for illicit finance. It's an extremely inefficient way of conducting transactions, and the amount of energy that's consumed in processing those transactions is staggering. But it is a highly speculative asset, and I think people should beware. It can be extremely volatile, and I do worry about potential losses that investors in it could suffer.
Oh, that's good that you're worried about us as you're printing more and more money, and you wrote a letter to the SDR to print more and more money. You're so concerned about us. That's great. Let's listen to Jerome Powell talking about the crypto asset.
They're highly volatile, see Bitcoin, and therefore not really useful as a store of value, and they're not backed by anything. They're more of an asset for speculation. So they're also not particularly in use as a means of payment. It's more a speculative asset that's essentially a substitute for gold.
I believe he said that. That's a huge signal for you, Warriors. Bitcoin's gonna be like gold. You have the SDRs, so you're gonna have gold, the SDRs. Then you're gonna have your CBDC, central bank digital currencies, and I believe XRP is gonna be the bridge for that.
Rather than for the dollar.
His face.
That was Fed Chair Jay Powell earlier this week, warning of the risks associated with cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin down about 10% this week after surging over the past year. Joining us now is Brian Brooks, former active controller of the currency. You saw my expression there, Brian. That's very perplexing to me, and I'll tell you why. Okay, I will give him the first statement that it's highly volatile, and at this point, it's tough to use for transactions. But then he says it's not really a store of value, and then says it's essentially a substitute for gold. So the 4,000, 5,000 year store of value that we know historically is gold. And he just said it's like gold, but it's not a store of value. So does he not think gold is a store of value? And with what the Fed's doing right now, is $1? Is he really making the case that that's a store of value?
Well, hey, Joe, you're thinking about it exactly the right way. I mean, there's a lot to unpack there. So first of all, as a store of value, I would just say there's a reason people have flocked to Bitcoin in the last year, right? Which is something else happened in the last year. And that is that we increased the money supply by 40%. So we
increased the money supply by 40%. The SDR said they're adding a new secret layer. They didn't say secret layer. That's what that guy said. So you added 40% supply of money. Your money's devalued. Now the SDR is going to add more money, Warriors? Think about that. What is the smart money going to do? Stores of value.
When you do that in a world of supply and demand, it means that the dollar is at least a 40% less good store of value than it was a year ago. And that is one of the reasons people look to Bitcoin. But, Joe, the point I really want to make is the dollar may not actually be backed by anything. Obviously, we went off the gold standard in the Nixon administration. But cryptocurrencies actually are backed by something. They're backed by underlying networks. And what you're buying when you buy a crypto token, whether it's Bitcoin or anything else, is you're buying a piece of a financial network that's being built to transact all kinds of stuff. And the number of things that have gone on chain in the last 2 years is enormously high. That's why the cryptocurrency market today is almost a $2 trillion.
So you are buying an asset, Warriors. It's super important to understand. It's super important to understand. Are you starting to get the narrative, Warriors? You see Janet Yellen, you see Jerome Powell really uncomfortable in their meetings. I know this is really uncomfortable to hear, Warriors, because you've been sold a narrative for a very, very, very long time. You grew up in a system that was a non-gold-backed system. Since 1971, you've been in a system that's just a printing machine, Warriors. The 2008 crash, the crash of Lehman Brothers. Think about that. Who let that happen, Warriors? And since 2009, more Bitcoin's been printed, more money's been printed since the inception of Bitcoin. And during the pandemic last year, the C word, as you look this way, more money was printed this way. The 634 richest people in the world became much wealthier as you became more poor, and now you're getting stimulus checks and you're loving it. But every single time you get a stimulus check, your value of your dollar goes down. That's why people are moving to cryptocurrency. It's really that simple, Warriors. We're moving into a monetary system, and they don't give a shit how much money they print. That's the truth. Why would they be doing that, Warriors? Think about that. As we talked about it, if we did that, we would be in jail. That's a fact. We would be in jail if we were just printing money and just running up credit. And if you gave me $100 and I lent out 90 of yours, I would get in trouble for that, Warriors. So it's about understanding the game so you can't be played. But I'm not asking you to believe a bearded guy with a ponytail in. That's not the right thing to do. Learn how to fish, Warriors. So everything you need is our description down below. We got our Warrior Academy. You can see my portfolio, exit strategies, the best crypto community in the world, workouts, nutrition, subconscious mind programming, goal setting, vision board creation. I am not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice. I'm just documenting my journey in the quantum financial system. Everything you need is in the link down below. And as we always say, Warriors, rise. And again, our best wishes to Better Ball. Love you, man.